Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Earn It Podcast, making it to and through nursing school. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, and this is a morning motivation episode. So this is probably going to be a quick one just because of the simple fact that it is, for a lot of people, the beginning of a new semester. It might be the first semester of nursing school. It might be your second, third, fourth. No matter which one it is, we're not going to do any quote of the day today because today is just a simple reminder that that's the way things are at the beginning of every single semester, not just in nursing school, but during any prereq that you ever took. I'm sure you can think back to almost any class and just that sheer panic that set in when your Canvas or Blackboard first opens up and you're sitting there and you're looking at everything and the teacher is saying, oh, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. Oh, and then if that's not done by this time, then, you'll probably fail the class. There's so many different things that are said and done that cause a lot of different sorts of levels of anxiety during those first couple of weeks. And obviously, things are a little bit different when you're in nursing school than when you're in prereqs. Obviously, it's really high stakes when you're doing your prereqs. So if you're doing that, I'm not trying to downplay what you're going through right now because what you do and how well you do right now determines whether or not you get into a program. However, when you are in that program, you worked hard to get there. You are, if you got accepted into nursing school, you are in the top probably 10% of applicants that applied for whatever program you're in. And if you don't make it, you either have to start over again or this may be your only chance to do it. This may be your last shot, right? Especially if you're a non-traditional student like myself in my early 30s, almost mid 30s here, right? There's kind of a concern of this is the last chance, right? So, honestly, if you made it into a nursing school and you're 22, 23 or under, you don't really have anything to worry about, to be 100% honest with you, even though it seems like it would be a big deal if you obviously had to repeat or if you had to drop out because of your grades. But that's really not the case, guys, because you have plenty of time to go back. Regardless, that doesn't diminish the stress level. The thing that should diminish your stress level just a little bit is that you just simply need to realize this is the way things are at the beginning of every single semester, and you do not get in the groove until at least 2 to 3 weeks into it. And from the past that it's more likely than not that you are at some point, you don't really know when that's going to be for you because everybody is a little bit different. You're almost going to become complacent at some point in time during your semester, and you're going to be comfortable to the point where you're going to start perhaps procrastinating, trying a little bit less, not taking things as seriously, being kind of blasé about it. And you probably realize this because you have done it before. And I'm here to tell you, at some point in the upcoming few weeks, you will become like that. So not only remember that you've gone through it before, but remember what it's like to go through it, and just remember that you are going to, at some point, become complacent. And the reason why you do that, and nobody really talks about this, the real reason why you do that is because you basically burn out. So also realize that it's important for you to manage your stress and anxiety during these first few weeks because you need that fuel for later on in the semester. You need a slow burn in order to bring that energy all the way to the end so you can try your hardest all the way into the end. Again, this is really important if you are actually in a nursing program right now, because you need to realize that a lot of the knowledge, I probably shouldn't say this while this is trying to reduce your stress for the first few weeks. You need to remember all of this information long enough to pass an NCLEX. Okay. After that, everything else is going to be on the job. Let's be real, right? There's most of the stuff, or a lot of the stuff that you're learning in nursing school and having to memorize in nursing school for the NCLEX, a lot of the questions that you're getting on the NCLEX, it is not going to be anything like that in reality. It's not going to be anywhere near that difficult to that degree. You're not going to be, all of the stuff you learn for things like pharmacology you're not going to have all of that on the tip of your tongue for your nursing practice. That's just not the way it works. I even know somebody that went from a med-surg unit after working for about 4 or 5 years and then went into the ICU that had to relearn fluid imbalance, acid-base balance, things like that happen, like acidosis and alkalosis, had to remember a lot of that old stuff because there's a lot that not everybody, we have to kind of learn everything in nursing school that so that you're prepared whenever you see it out there, no matter where you end up. While you're going through nursing school, they cannot predict where you're going to end up and what you're going to end up doing, right? So they have to expose you to a little bit of everything. That's just not going to be the case when you start working. So don't worry about that far out. But again, just realize you've been here before. And by the end of the semester, you're going to be rolling your eyes in the back of your head when you think back on these first few days. If you don't believe me, do a little diary. Not every day, because who in the hell in nursing school has time to do a daily diary, right? But just write out a little thing or even a video diary and then watch that 6 weeks from now, LOL, right? You're going to be laughing at it because you're going to be like, oh, I remember that. That was, it's not that difficult to figure out. And figuring out to get your flow isn't really even something that you do consciously. So don't really try to consciously get there either. It's just going to happen because your schedule will just be put in your brain, right? Again, one thing that I like to do, just plan out the week, everything that you're going to do in that week. I'm going to be doing videos on my YouTube channel coming up specifically on how to schedule this out. In fact, I'm going to be working on that video probably later today to post at some point this week. And one of those things that I'm going to mention is to not do block scheduling. First of all, schedule out your at least 1 week ahead of time. But I do recommend if stress is really high and if you don't want to have to deal with stress of redoing things later when due dates are changed, assignments are changed, or life circumstances change, just do 1 week at a time, for God's sake, right? And just plan that out and just make a to-do list for every day. I'm going to give you the short of it. This is a little sneak preview here in a morning motivation episode. Just make every day a to-do list. If you try to block out and give yourself specific time frames to do specific tasks at specific times, if anything, and I mean anything happens, if you spend an extra 10 minutes talking to somebody, you're going to get an added stress of being, and I'm doing air quotes here, you just can't see it because morning motivation episodes, I'm not going to do video, sorry. Air quotes here, you're going to be behind, right? You're not really behind. You just made yourself behind because that's the schedule that you arbitrarily made without predicting the future. Like, it's a little bit different at a job, for instance, when you're doing work, because you know that you're going to be there from time A to time B. There is no option for you unless you call out sick, in which case, just forget about that altogether, right? So that's not what this is, even though this is your job. You cannot be like, oh, from this time to this time, exactly this is going to happen, because you are not in a controlled environment. You are actually out in the real world here. You're not at your job where you're required to be there, right? Things come up, and even 10 or 15 minutes can skew your schedule to the point where you just feel like, oh my God, everything's crumbling. Because especially a lot of people forget to book 10, 15-minute breaks, 30-minute breaks. Oh, I got to eat lunch. Oh gosh darn it, I actually need to fold laundry today. I didn't notice that this much laundry was piling up. Anyway, that's about it. Just realize that it's going to be over with soon. You've been through this before. You're going to be complacent soon, and it's perfectly normal. What kind of psychopath starts the first day of a new semester and literally has everything completely figured out instantaneously? Nobody. I haven't met a single person where that's actually the case. And here's a little secret, even instructors are a little bit nervous at the beginning of the semester because things happen, things need to change. And you have an added pressure in most schools out there because those students are going to do a survey on you. So also realize your instructors are in the same boat as well. And it's really actually surprising to a lot of people whenever I explain even a fraction of the workload of the average instructors today, because they should just be instructing, but instead they're being made to do a lot of other things that they, quite frankly, were not trained and educated for. So again, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the RNet Podcast. If you like this, please do follow. Please share it with people. And again, I'm going to leave a link in the description of this podcast to my YouTube channel. I would appreciate going over to my YouTube channel, watching some stuff. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm really focusing on extraordinarily high quality videos for my YouTube channel, so please go ahead and do that. As far as morning motivation episodes, expect once a week for the next few weeks, because again, I myself have just started a new semester of nursing school, and it's kicked into gear big time. And so I'm trying my best just between this and YouTube. I am trying to balance that. I'm not going to put crappy videos on YouTube. High quality, high video, graphics, the whole works, so that you are engaged the entire time. And I try to shorten everything down to about 5 minutes, because nursing students do not have time to sit there and watch a 10, 12, 15-minute YouTube video, because you're going to get distracted and realize that, oh my God, I really just need to be doing the schoolwork. So thank you so much again. Leave a follow, check out my YouTube channel, and goodbye.